We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
Hey, everybody. It is Larry Sharp. So happy to be here, host of the Sharp Way Show, and here with you, host of A Free Solution, WYSL, Rochester, New York, WENY, Elmira, Corning, The Patriot, WACK in Newark, New York. Yes, I say all the time, Newark is the cool Newark. Sorry, Jersey. Reach out to me if you want to talk to me, 585-346-3000. A lot of you know that I grew up as a young kid in the Bronx, South Bronx, and it was not the best neighborhood. It was not great. It took a lot of time for my mom and my dad to get us out of there. I was there until I was 11. So elementary school, young days, all there. An area where at this time in the 70s, give you my age, in the 70s, cops wouldn't come to my neighborhood. They wouldn't come. That's how, I'm sorry, cops. Taxis wouldn't come to my neighborhood. Cops came to my neighborhood. And that's what I wanted to bring up. I remember so often seeing flashing lights in my neighborhood. Arresting this guy, that guy, whatever the case may be. But I remember when they were trying to clean it up. And some of you, if you're old enough, you may remember the movie Serpico from the 70s. Al Pacino was in it. Corrupt cops. That was literally filmed in my neighborhood. I remember the one shot of a park that I used to play in my neighborhood. So when they tried to clean up, I remember one day, I think I was coming home from school or maybe from shopping, but I think it was school. There were a line of cops bringing a bunch of guys from the gang. And the gang of that time was in my area was called the Skulls. That was the name of the gang. I still remember they like had a stuff on the back and blah, blah, blah. And I remember, oh, was it Savage Skulls? I think it was the Savage Skulls back then. I don't know if that they still exist. I don't really know the neighborhood very well anymore. So they may not exist anymore. But literally there, I don't know, a dozen more marching them down the street, handcuffs behind their back, heading down into the subway. Now, how did we feel? The average Bronx resident that was there, watching the cops bring these gang members in handcuffs into the subway, which I guess they've taken them to Rikers Island, I assume, wherever they were taking them. And I thought to myself as a kid, I didn't know. I didn't understand a different neighborhood. This is all I knew, right? I was like, I don't know, 9, 8, something like that. That's all I remember. So I don't remember it being better, if that makes any sense. So I was used to it. But then getting into a different neighborhood when I got older and seeing that it didn't have to be so negative, full of crime and gangs, I liked it. It was good. I don't want New York to go back to that, the state or the city. And I feel like my city is going back to, you just have to accept crime. You have to accept that it's bad and not know any better. You know what? For an 8-year-old kid who only knew a high crime neighborhood, all right, that's fine. That's what I knew. But that shouldn't be the way every adult in New York City or New York State feels. And I bring this up because crime is everywhere. You're seeing it going up everywhere. Western New York, Central New York, you see it. It's everywhere. But heavily in my city. I live in Queens now, not in the Bronx, but I still live in a city. And now, instead of flashing lights, at almost any time during the day, I might hear a police siren go by. That didn't happen when I moved to Queens. That wasn't a thing that I was dealing with in my neighborhood. I mean, you heard cop cars sometimes. Hey, you live in New York City. You're going to hear a cop car. If you don't live in New York City. I got it. But I feel like, and maybe I'm over exaggerating now because of what I remember, I feel like I hear a cop car every day. Every day. Like when I was a kid, I used to see flashing lights every day. I don't remember the sirens, but I remember the flashing lights. Now I feel like I remember the sirens like every day because it wasn't that way before. Gun crime is up. Violent crime is up. All types of crime is up throughout this entire state, but heavily in New York City. And it was worse in New York City because it was bad last year, and it's increasing now here even worse. It's even worse in the subways. The subways in New York are terrible, violent. This weekend, they're pulling 2 guys out of the subway dead. They were shot to death, not just like stabbings and robberies, which is bad enough. But now they're pulling corpses out of the subway. So if you would ask, hey, what are our politicians here talking about now? Right? What are they talking about now? What's the big thing in the press conferences now? Yes, COVID. I'm not joking. You see it. You hear it. COVID. The governor, our Lord and Master, His Majesty King Andrew Cuomo II, oh, hail a king, he led his press conference off with COVID numbers because that's the issue, is COVID, that now everyone who wants a vaccine can get one. That's the critical thing. Every number you could possibly think about is down. Crime way up. When we asked him, hey, how can you fix New York City? Crime. His answer was, well, it's the relationship with the cops and the community. Yeah, that's the problem. I guess, I don't know, cops are mad. Is that what's going on? Is that the reason? Cops are mad now, or the community's mad at cops. So that's why we're literally being shot to death in our subway system. That's the reason. That's his answer. So then they asked the woman who now runs temporarily, it's interim president because you can't get a president. Why would anyone want to take the MTA over? I don't know why. I would take it over in 5 minutes, but they would never have me take it over. But who wants that job? So they can't find a president of the MTA. They can't find one. They asked her how many cops, they had in the subway system. She actually wasn't sure. She didn't know. Cops had to tell her. Yeah. So what's your number one priority in a subway system where literally we are pulling corpses out of it on the weekend? Well, is it clean for COVID? I'm not joking. That was the critical thing. I am not joking. The most important thing was it clean for COVID? So that when your dead, bleeding body is laying on the subway station, the people who grab your body won't get COVID. That's the most important thing. That's what we're concerned about. We're concerned about everything except for what most, I guess, city people, I'm not sure if that same fear is throughout the entire state, but I know in the cities it is. I know Rochester's worried. I know Buffalo's worried. I know New York City's worried about a massive increase in violence. This is an issue. So when you talk to our mayor, okay, mayor, we got a problem here. Got to fix this crime. What's your number one thing? And he leads with social justice. Yeah, that's the issue. It's these people being too white. That's the problem. That's the issue. Women in Chicago, man in Chicago. The problem is White reporters. That's the issue. If we just take care of that, it will all go away. Meanwhile, in New York City, I'm not joking when I say this, a couple days ago, black guy pushed the Asian guy onto the subway tracks. Yep. 2 days ago, maybe, 3 Muslim guys beat up 2 Jewish guys. Yeah, those damn white people. Well, I do have some good news. There was literally a shootout, and I mean a gunfight, Upper West Side of Manhattan. One of those guys might have been white. There we go. See? All right, white people. Well done. Get in the game. I know it sounds insane what I'm saying, and I know I'm sounding almost flippant. But what else am I supposed to do? I'm in a city that is falling apart in almost every way you could imagine, and my leadership is tone deaf, is only worried, as you hear me talk about all the time. We're trying to fight unnecessary, that's the wrong word, misprioritized culture wars when actually people are hurting, physically hurting, dying. I don't care what's the skin color of the guy or gal who shoots me. I'm not concerned at all. I just don't want to get shot. That's my issue. I don't want to get shot. I'd like my family to not be shot. I'm not concerned about the ethnic background of the guy or gal who shoots me. See, I'll even say guy or gal. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. Don't care. Gay or straight. Don't care. Just don't shoot me. I know. I'm asking a lot. I guess maybe just too much. Am I frustrated? Yeah, I am. Because New York City has lost over 1 million people last year. How is my city supposed to recover? Wow. Wow. Larry Sharp, a free solution. Am I crazy? Do you care about my city? You tell me. 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
The Finger Lakes Castle team is in its 7th decade of factory direct service to the service professional. From cleaning the ins and outs of your vehicle to keeping you on the road, Castle's got you covered. Castle makes streak-proof glass cleaner, FDA-registered sanitizers, and EPA-registered hospital-grade disinfectants. Remember, when you need to keep it clean, use what the pros use. Castle. Accept no substitutes.
Castle keeps it clean.
A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now,
Can we have a caller, Bruce from Cuba, New York?
There's a better use for your phone when an
You're
officer's
welcome.
in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution, or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
Hey, everybody. Larry Sharp back here on A Free Solution. So happy to have you with me, giving me a little chunk of your afternoon here on WYSL, Rochester, New York, WENY, ENI, Elmira and Corning, The Patriot, and WACK, Newark, New York, 585-346-3000. Before the break, I was talking all about the violence that is crossing the state and affecting my city directly, and most cities, and how most of our leadership is tone deaf. It is driving me crazy, and it may drive someone else crazy. I'm not sure. We're going to find out. I have a call. This is Bruce from Cuba, New York. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. I actually have a shirt from Cuba Lake that someone gave me 2 years ago, give or take.
That's a nice place.
It is. So Cuba, hold on. Is that Allegheny or is that Cattaraugus County?
That's Allegheny County. And I'm just driving through it.
There you go. There we go. What's
But
going on, my friend?
your radio show.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was listening to your radio show and you're talking about the cities. And I'm from Rochester. I moved to Rochester 30 years ago from rural Pennsylvania. And I moved out of Rochester after I lived there for 9 years because of the same situation I saw happening then. They weren't paying any attention to the problem, which is the growth in crime. So now I live 30 miles away from where I work. And unfortunately, that was my solution, because I don't see the government that runs these cities changing, because they vote the same people in. I mean, you look at lovely Warren now, and I mean, these people just keep getting reelected. So I don't think it's going to change until you start putting some people in there that are hard-nosed and firm and have a backbone.
I worry, Bruce, that, and the same issue I see with New York State, is that as people do what you did, which I understand why, you said, I'm done, I'm out. I think the same thing's happening with New York State. People are packing up and leaving New York State. And my city, New York City, people are packing up and leaving. I'm not blaming them. I get it. It makes sense. The problem, though, that I see is the people who would change, the people who would have the backbone, they're gone. And the people who might want to step up and fix, they won't get voted on because the people who would have voted for them are gone. So I feel like it's a perpetuating problem with almost no solution, except maybe even collapse. Am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong, unfortunately. If you look at the color codes on the map every year when we vote for either local people, national people, the population centers vote in different ways than the rural vote. And I'll tell you the truth. I retire in 2 years. I'll be out of New York State in 2 years and 1 month. And that's unfortunate.
I know. I hear that all the time.
My kids are here now. I have grandkids. I don't want to move, but the politics and the taxes in this state, and they're never going to change. And if Cuomo doesn't get kicked out, that's a big signal that I don't think it's coming back.
No, I think you've hit a very valid point. My mother retired many years ago. She passed away about 7 years ago. But when she passed away, she died in South Carolina. To your point, she couldn't afford to retire in this state. So my daughters basically lost their grandma. I lost my mom being close to me because she moved to South Carolina because she couldn't survive here. I totally get it. I hear it all the time. And I know what you just said. The amount of times I've heard someone say something similar like this, either they say, once my kids graduate high school, or once my elderly parent passes away, or once I retire and get my pension, I'm out of this state. I've heard that story. I'm not joking. At least 100 times, maybe 200 times. It's so common.
And I agree. And how do you change that around? You change people's minds and how they vote. And like you said, is it too late? I don't know.
Well, the hope is, though, there's a little bit of a difference here, right? What has happened in the past is people would leave, say, New York State, and they'd move to, say, Texas or Arizona or someplace like that, Florida, and they would move city to city, which means the same mindset goes to the same mindset, right? That's how some of the states like Arizona is becoming more purple than red because they're moving from city to city. But I think with COVID and the lockdowns, a lot of people moved out of the city and into more rural areas. And if they move into more rural areas, in theory, their mindset should change because they should be affected by their environment. A lot of people who move to the city wind up moving more towards the left politically once they live in a city for a long time. And so people to the rural areas or suburbs, they should move more towards the right, or at least the center, as they stay there. And that, I'm not sure of that, Bruce, but I hope that's true because I think that could bring some sanity back.
Well, and I think you have a good point, because if you move where I live right now in New York State, we are basically very small community. We all know a lot about each other. And when we have to vote on things that might affect our neighbor, it's a personal thing. It's not, we can't just, we don't get to sit anonymously behind a Facebook screen, and we go to the town meetings and we place votes. And so it gives you personal responsibility. And I think if people start getting personal responsibility, that may pull us back from where we are. I hope.
That is my hope, my friend. I appreciate that.
You take care.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the call.
Bye.
So I think what Bruce is thinking is what a lot of people are thinking, right? He's not alone in this. There's a lot of people thinking exactly the same way that he's thinking. And it's sad because, at least we get to keep Bruce in New York State for a couple more years, right? And maybe we can get rid of Cuomo and get rid of some of the other weak leaders. Actually, weak is wrong. Weak is the wrong answer. Bad. That's a better word. Some of the bad leaders that we have, and maybe turn this state around. And maybe we can save Bruce, right? Maybe. I'm hoping we get to save Bruce. Maybe in a couple years, Bruce will see something turning around and be like, you know what? All right, I'll give another shot. I hope we can. Because sadly, even for the cities, you can see people leaving the cities. And sadly, most people, when they leave a city in New York State, most don't do what Bruce did. They don't move to a rural area in New York State. They actually leave the state completely. And that's even harder for us. Again, I'm not mad at people who do it. I get it. I've thought of it myself. I think of it weekly. You think I don't think about leaving a state? Of course I do. I know if you're listening, you do too. Of course you do. But I still have some hope. I still have some. Maybe with the right ideas, we can change people's minds and it could work. It's possible. We can actually make those changes with a lot of policies, a lot of thought processes that don't require more money. I'm going to cover that when I come back from the break, because all my solutions are free solutions. Larry Sharp, our free solution, 585-346-3000. Back with your calls and your comments after the break.
It's Dan Bongino, weekday afternoons.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon, Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center. Tonight, increasing clouds, temps in the 40s, low 50s, some rain, a rather chilly day coming up on Friday, 40s, low 50s, clear up later Friday night. The weekend will see improving skies on Saturday, temps in the 60s, some nice weather Sunday into Memorial Day. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200.
I just had a caller. He didn't want to go on the air. His name is Jeff from Bergen, New York.
Simple Tech Innovations.
That's west of Rochester. And what he wanted to say is we should not refer to them as political leaders because they are hired by us when we vote, and they're not our leader. They're just in there working for us, or at least that's how it should be.
Number, it's got matching socks.
Yeah. I fully agreed with him.
But back to the rack, because here comes the black. Bump the hump on the Wednesday, making you feel like Friday night, date night, suddenly it's Saturday. But pull on a pop of purple at a 4 or 5 inch bump, and that body is socking and that body's stocking. But in white fringe, shimmy the shimmy, but whatever shape or shade, as long as it's elegant moments, lingerie, available at Show World.
Don't wait for the next power outage to get a Soul sun charger. It's the power bank perfected with 4 solar panels, enough to give it the near magical powers to charge itself. Soul Green Energies, where quality and cost meet. For similar features, you can pay twice as much, or you could pay half for something that'll make a good coaster when it runs out of juice. Sun chargers are the kind of thing you'd rather have and not need than need and not have. Get yours today at bestsunchargers.com.
To celebrate State Farm's surprisingly great rates, we gave this song surprisingly great lyrics.
State Farm, prices made just for you. That's what I said now. Prices that surprise you. Just go ahead now, keep that money in your pockets.
Call State Farm Insurance Agent Christina Breen Hale today, 225-8480.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you feel sick for whatever reason, don't wait to get help. Noise Health Urgent Care now offers telemedicine appointments using your device to meet with a provider face-to-face from the comfort of your home. Call 585-243-9595 to schedule an appointment. Noise Health Urgent Care is open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week, even weekends and holidays. Walk-ins welcome at our Geneseo location, 50 East South Street. Digital X-ray available too. Noise Health Urgent Care. Your health care, your way.
Rochester's only NCAA Division II athletic scholarship program wants you. Our Life in the Balance approach to athletics will provide you with an opportunity to succeed in the classroom and in your sport while allowing you the time to be involved with your personal interests and even study abroad. The Redhawks compete in the East Coast Conference, and their student athletes excel in the classroom and on the playing field. If you're ready for the challenge of high-level athletics while earning a college degree that will prepare you for the future, visit robertsredhawks.com.
True financial health requires a holistic approach, a hallmark of Whitney & Company since its founding in 1975. Investment management is the main focus, plus guidance with retirement planning, maximizing Social Security benefits, Medicare questions, insurance evaluation, and more to help chart your financial path. Whitney & Company, an independent registered investment advisor, fee-based, focused for you and your family, and never product sales. Whitney & Company, like a family friend in finance. 232-6200. Visit whitneyandcompany.com.
Remember, Scotty's Detail Auto Body for all of your body paint and collision repairs. And also remember, it's still the collision shop of your choice during that unfortunate time. Scotty's Detail Auto Body, Route 15 East Avon, just a quarter mile north of I-390, exit 9.
A free solution.
I am back. Yes, I have returned. Larry Sharp here, host of The Sharp Way. You want to follow some Sharp Way properties on social media, please do that. It's awesome. I'm on all the Insta stuff, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all those things. But something else, this show, A Free Solution, it's on every day. It is. You can follow A Free Solution on Facebook and also on YouTube. See, I'm giving you homework. Right now, though, I'm here on WYSL, Rochester, New York, WENY, Elmira in Corning, the Patriot, WACK in Newark, New York, 585-346-3000. I had a caller during the break, Jeff from Virgin, and I'm pretty sure I was there at an event when I was running for office. I feel like it was at the fire department or something like that, if not mistaken. I'm sorry, I did so many events, but I'm like 90% sure I was in Virgin. Anyway, he brought up the comment that we shouldn't call them political leaders, that they work for us. And it's a valid point, which is why I think they're supposed to be called representatives, because they do represent us. That's true. So Jeff is right. We probably shouldn't call them leaders. We probably should call them representatives. But then, do we have any leaders? So it's kind of a double-edged sword on that one, Jeff. But I get your point. I think representative is probably a better title than leader. I agree. And some of them, I think, have taken on larger titles than just that. They're more like, Lord and Master. Anyway, let me grab, if I could, a couple of comments of a bunch of people who are commenting. Jay Poor says, 1982 all over again. That was kind of my point, Jay. I don't want that to be the case. 1982 across the city was the 70s in the South Bronx. Like, that went from the South Bronx to the entire city. And yeah, it was a very rough time. My mom used to work in Manhattan at the time, and she would literally have to hide her jewelry because she was worried about people snatching her chains and such, right? This is when, if any of you watch a movie from the 80s, you'll notice that many of the women who are in more traditional female business attire of the 80s will also be wearing sneakers. Yeah, that was a thing. Now you see it a little bit, but not as much. But that was a thing because you had to be on your feet. You were ready to get around in case someone's trying to mug you or something. I mean, it was crazy. And being a cab driver, oh my God. I mean, it was like you were in the jungle. Absolutely. Yes. So Nick says, New York and California should legalize and tax cocaine. Okay. I guess your logic is then there'll be less drug crime. I think that's probably true in theory, but cocaine's a relatively expensive drug. I'm not sure that's the biggest issue, but I get it. I'm not against what you're saying. I'm not sure if it applies directly to this. Plus, if New York and California taxed it, they'd make leeway because they would tax it so much that it'd be too expensive and people would still buy it in the black market. So if you were to say regulate cocaine like any other drug, that might work better, right? I think that might work better. Or even like alcohol in theory. Probably too high tax on that too, but maybe. I'm not against the idea at all, Nick. Not at all. I think we got to tweak that one. That's all. And I'm not sure that it would answer the issue. Sandra says, born, raised, and still live in the same neighborhood in Queens. I'm old enough to see we are back to 1970s New York City. Thank you, Mayor DeBozo. That's cute, DeBozo. Yes. Sandra, I'm with you, right? I haven't lived in Queens the whole time. I've only been in Queens these last 20 years, 21 years. But I lived in Manhattan. I lived in the Bronx. So I've lived in, 3 of the 5 boroughs. And I remember in the 70s how bad it was. And I hope we're not going there. Sorry, we are there. My hope is this is a temporary change. And with the lockdowns ending, we can get back to something that makes sense. But my problem is actually what Bruce said, right? Bruce's point, while it might have seemed, just some guy, driving around Western New York, what he said is a real problem that affects my city too. So many people leaving, which also means wealthy people leaving. And you might go, why do I care if the rich leave New York City? Because then all the people who service the rich go away. All the people who work for the rich go away. All the people who sell the rich stuff go away. Now, is it the end of the world? No. But is it a big chunk of New York City economics? Yeah. Yes. Now, if you're in a small town and you lose a rich guy or gal, and it was not going to end. It's not great, but it was not going to end. Well, your economy probably isn't based upon one guy buying stuff, right? So, but New York City, a lot of our economy is about really rich people buying really rich stuff. That's a big chunk of our economy. So when those people stop buying stuff, well, who's going to work in the art galleries? Who's going to work in the high-end stores? Who's going to, be the concierge services? And that's an industry in my city. That's an industry. It's probably not an industry in your town. So the rich people leaving and not coming back, that really affects New York City tremendously. So, yes, Josh thinks I'm a disgusting human being. He says, I'm disgusting for comparing sexual consent to taxes. I don't remember when I did that, Josh. You might be reaching out to the wrong guy or the wrong show. You might be. I don't think anyone's doing that. You're a horrific human being. Comparing consent of taxation to consent of sex is toxic. I would agree. I don't know who would do that, Josh. I think you might be projecting, my friend. So I'm not sure who you're talking to. If it was me, you're confused. If it wasn't me, you're confused. So good luck. I hope you find that disgusting person who is toxic. Good luck. Yes. So Landman says the Sullivan Act, drafted by Big Tim Sullivan, corrupt Tammy Hall politicians. We're talking about guns. All right, let me move there now. Thank you. The 2 parts to this. People talking about crime, upset. Now we start talking about COVID because that's the big thing now. So how do we get people to stop doing crime? Can we somehow bribe them to stop doing crime? Help them for not doing crime? Help our police force? No. We're going to bribe our kids to get the COVID vaccine. Yeah, I'm not joking. Now, New York State is going to give your kid a chance at a free college education if they get the vaccine. But wait, don't we have the Excelsior program? I thought there's already free college in New York State. Isn't that what our governor, our Lord Master, His Majesty, all hail a king, isn't that what he told us? So was that a lie? Or is this a lie? I thought we had free college. Remember that? But now you can get free college, chance at it, if you give your 12 to 17-year-old a vaccine. And I would ask you an important question. Why in the world would you want to push your 12 to 17-year-old to get a vaccine? Why? The data is in. They rarely get it. If they get it, they don't have symptoms, which means they can't pass it on to anybody else. They don't get sick. They rarely ever have any serious side effect. And if they get it on their own, they'll be immune without having to get a vaccine. Let's say, even if they don't get the vaccine and they become 18, 19, 20 and get it, still pretty safe. You're really in the safe zone until you're like over 55. They got like 40 years before they're in trouble. And whatever vaccine you give them now, there'll be something different 40 years from now, won't there? A different COVID and a different vaccine. Why are we doing this? Why are we focusing on getting 12 to 17-year-olds a vaccine? Now, if your specific 12 to 17-year-old is in trouble, they have a pre-existing condition, they're in a scary zone, then you can go get them a vaccine. And as a caring, competent parent, I bet you would, right? If you knew your kid was in that position, you would get them the vaccine. Makes total sense. But why would we do that? Why would we bribe them into getting a vaccine with education, which is free education, which we're supposed to already have in New York State? Isn't that why our budget's $200 and some odd billion, so we can give our free education? Isn't that part of the issue? But we're doing that. Our priority is not keeping people in this state. If you're going to bribe, I'm not for bribing. But if you're going to bribe people to stay. Bribe Bruce. Bribe Bruce to move back to Rochester. That's a good bribe. I like that bribe. Why am I bribing 12-year-olds to get shots for a disease that they literally have a better chance of being struck by lightning? I'm not exaggerating with that. For a 12-year-old to die of COVID, there is a better chance of them being struck by lightning. Let's bribe Bruce. I like that way better. Let's get him to go back to Rochester. This would make some sense. But what we're doing is insanely just crazy. We're focusing on things that are completely wrong. I have an idea. You can get the vaccine if you want the vaccine. And if your kid is in a special zone where you're afraid, you should go get the vaccine for your kid. And the parent who knows the kid should be able to choose. I know, nuts, right? That's the solution, though. It's a free one. I got more coming up, plus your comments. Larry Sharp, our free solution. Back after the break.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, "He is my refuge and my fortress, for he will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease."
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
Yes, I have returned. Larry Sharp here on Our Free Solution, WYSL, Rochester, New York, WENY, ENI, Elmira, and Corning, The Patriot, WACK in Newark, New York. Very happy that you gave me a chunk of your afternoon. Thank you so much. Before the break, I got off topic. John was talking about guns, and I started to go to guns, and then I went off on education because I'm so annoyed at this, so I apologize. Let me get back to the gun piece. People are scared about crime. So when people are scared about crime, what do many people do? They go buy a gun. That's a common thing, right? I'm worried, I'm scared, I'm going to defend myself, going to go buy a gun. That is not a crazy thought process. That is a very logical thought process. Got it. Now, you personally may be against guns or pro guns. All good. Whatever you think. All I'm saying is that is a natural thought process that I'm sure you can understand regardless of your personal views on firearms. So people buying guns. They think, what gun should I buy? They go to a gun shop. They figure out whatever is the legal ATF gun to purchase. They do that. Well, New York State makes its own rules, as it always does. And now there's a gun shop in Suffolk County. It's on Long Island. For you Western New Yorker people don't know where that is. That's on Long Island out my way. And they're in trouble now. Now, Suffolk County is saying, we want all those people, because this firearm is illegal. I don't know why it is. I don't remember the details. But it's illegal for some reason in New York State. Even though the ATF says it's a legal weapon, New York State's not. So all these people now have to give back their guns. Sorry, have their guns confiscated. They don't get reimbursed. You just lose your gun. That's fine, right? And the actual shop may be looking at criminal charges. Yeah, for selling them. ATF legal, doesn't matter. We're coming after you. So I'm be clear. People like Bruce are running away from the cities. People like my mother left the state, and millions of people are leaving our state. And we're worried about bribing our kids with free college, which is supposed to be free already, to get a COVID shot, to get a vaccine. That's priority. Not just that, crime everywhere, specifically downstate in the city, specifically there, but everywhere. Rochester, Buffalo, excuse me, everywhere. So what should we do? Punish people who buy guns. Literally, our small businesses are being devastated. So what should we do? Charges against the small business. If I wrote this in a book, you would say, stop, Larry, this would never happen. This is the dumbest story I ever heard. I'm not buying this. I couldn't get a Netflix special on this. They'd be like, forget it. This is stupid. Nope, who would do this? Oh, it's real? Man, I can't believe that's real. Yes, literally, in Suffolk County, the Suffolk County DA is prepared to attack a local business owner for selling firearms that are ATF legal. And he wants all the people who bought it to just give it up. Sorry, lost your money. You should have known better. So you get to lose your money. Oh, you don't feel safe? Too bad. Guess you don't feel safe. Don't take a subway. That's our answer. This state, almost every month, not even gonna say almost, every month, gets more and more embarrassing. It's harder and harder for me to defend. Why do I defend it? Because it's a beautiful state. That's why I do. It's still a beautiful state. And Michael brings it up. He says, it's so unfortunate because outside of some of the cities, New York is such a beautiful place. But our political leaders have ruined this place in all our home. I agree. It bothers me. I don't know what we can do. Jericho says, to change it, we need change in leadership. Yes, Jericho. She says, maybe a libertarian. I love that idea. But sadly, Joe is trying to get me to come to Florida. And I'm going to say, Joe, not yet. I still got hope, brother. I still got hope. He's also teasing me. He's saying, did I lose a fight with a razor? What? I took my beard off a little bit. Come on. A little bit down. It's fine. I still look good, don't I? I hope so. Yes. All right. Joe says we should call them public servants. That's not bad. Dustin says political appointee. Also not bad. So we're not going to call them leaders. We're going to call them public servants or political appointees. That's not bad. Okay. I would be open to either of these. I would. Yeah. But then Dustin brings up the most important piece. He says, to truly reimagine safety, we must end the war on drugs. And I think that's what Nick was talking about when he was talking about the legalizing cocaine piece. I do think these are issues that we have to worry about. We have a bigger issue than whether someone gets a vaccine. Well, it matters. But again, in my view, and
2 minutes.
Anti-vaccine at all. You guys know I'm not anti-vax. But if you want one now, you can get one now, which means that job is done. That phase is over. If you want it, go get it. You don't want it, live your life. Done deal. Why are we so concerned about this now? Let's start working on actual issues, things that we can repair. We're worried about cultural issues. The war on drugs, I'm going to say something that may sound crazy to some of you. Meth, crack, the worst drugs that you've seen trash your family members and friends in your neighborhoods, it is all directly because of the government. I'm not joking. To Nick's point, drugs like cocaine, Adderall, things like that, if they were safe and cheap, nobody would make meth or crack. Everybody knows meth and crack is dangerous. They make it because it's dirt cheap, because they can't afford other drugs, because they can't go get help, because they go to get help, they go to jail. You end the war on drugs. You allow people who are in trouble to have safer drugs. You allow cannabis products to help people to wean them off of these horrible opioids. You allow people to not have to hide in the corners and go and get help so they can not have that drug and have a better life. There won't be any meth. There won't be any crack. There'll be no need for it. Dustin's right. Nick is right. These are good solutions. They're free solutions. Thank you for giving me a check of your afternoon. I will see you all next week.